So as you find your comfortable seat, use whatever you need and as much as you need. We're not going to sit for a long period of time, but I do want you to be comfortable, right? And if your knees, right, come up really high, right, build up, sit a little higher, create more cushioning so that the knees are a little bit lower. And if the knees are still high, even do a folded blanket or a pillow underneath your knees for some support so you can relax on that inner thigh area and let the legs relax. And if that really isn't working for you, cross-leg seat, feel free to stretch out a leg or sit in some other way that you know does serve you. All right. So let's bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Close your eyes and take a breath or two to check in and sincerely and lovingly ask yourself, how are you doing? You may not have taken a moment to check in and see how you're feeling today. And observe not only the loud things that scream at you, like my low back's killing me, or I've got the beginnings of a headache, but notice the subtler things of mind and spirit, agitation, or anything that might be an undercurrent, and welcome what you find, even if it's not pleasant, right? Beginning to cultivate contentment right here. And then begin to direct the breath. So feeling as you inhale, the chest lifts slightly and then the belly expands. And as you exhale, the belly softly drawing in as the chest gently falls. So inhale, chest to belly, exhale, belly to chest. See if you can begin to lengthen that breath a little, so finding a rhythm that's comfortable for you. I would suggest maybe starting with a 4-count inhale and a 4 to 5 count exhale. But hopefully, because we've worked with the breath a lot over the last few weeks, you're already pretty familiar. You know exactly where your comfort level is. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And now releasing the breath practice. You can bring both hands to the heart or hands in prayer, bow your head slightly, and create that intention, that affirmation for today. My heart is filled with joy and contentment. I'm deserving of love. Those are just 2 suggestions. Repeat your affirmation 3 times to yourself. We'll come back to it. And then letting it go, lift your chin parallel to the floor. Open your arms out to the side with your hands cupped towards the ceiling. And imagine that now you're bringing in that affirmation, that you're holding it in your hands. So as you inhale, get a little taller. And as you exhale, gently bring your hands back to your heart. Hands can stay softly cupped if you're implanting that contentment here. Let's do that 3 more times. So inhaling, opening the hands, feeling like you're filling them, and then exhaling, bringing them back to the heart. Repeating your mantra if you so desire. 2 more times. Work with your breath. And the next time your hands come to your heart, sit there for a moment, gaze soft or eyes closed, like feeling the warmth of your hands. And then release your hands by your side, open your eyes. Let's come into the dynamic lateral bend. So inhale your arms up into T, and as you exhale, tilt to one side and reach your arm over. And then we're going to inhale up to center and immediately go to the other side. So let's do that 2 more times to each side. Remember to move at your pace. So as I like to say, this isn't synchronized swimming. We don't have to all be in sync. It's actually kind of fun for me to see people doing their own thing. And then next time you come back to whatever was your first side, let's pause there. And as you pause, you can look up towards your hand. And then as you exhale, draw your elbow towards the waist and look down at the hand on the floor. So let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, look up, feel that lengthening through the whole side body. Exhale, draw the elbow down as you turn your head away. A little stretch for the neck. 1 more time, looking up. Exhale, hand and elbow coming towards waist. This time, bring your hand to your shoulder. Continue to look down towards the floor and take some nice slow circles, maybe 4 to 5 in one direction. Switching directions whenever you like. So always feel free to go a couple times in one direction and then switch, go the other way if that feels good. And then bringing the elbow to stillness, look up and stretch that arm overhead, nice big long reach. And then using your next inhale, bring yourself up to center, release that arm down. Take a moment here at center before we go to the other side. Take a breath in and breath out. Let's go right to the other side. So taking the other hand to the floor, reach opposite arm up, gaze up. Take a breath here and stretch, reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, elbow to waist as you look down towards the floor. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, elbow to waist. 1 more time. And this next time, let's bring the fingertips to the shoulders and take those circles. Feel free to switch directions after every couple of circles if that feels good, or do 4 or 5 in one direction, then 4 or 5 in the other. And then when you're ready, stretch that arm up, look up towards your hand, take 1 last breath, and then use that arm to reach up, take the arm down, give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. And we're going to extend the legs out in front. So you might want to come off of your support because we're going to lean back into the hands. So stretch the legs out, lean back into your hands, fingers, tips pointed forward or back or however is best for you. Right? And with your legs in front, separate them a little. Do some nice ankle circles here. And again, switch directions whenever you're ready. You can flex and point. And then see if you can do the opposite, so flex one and point the other. A little brain work there too. And then bringing feet to center, let's windshield wiper them side to side. So that moves a little bit up into the hips, which can feel good. Okay, coming to center now, let's start with the right leg. I want you to bend your right knee and bring your ankle to rest on your left thigh. Right? Good. So it could be down lower. If the thigh above the knee is on hard, you just don't want to rest on the knee. So if below is better for you, you can do that. Right? Thigh is good. And then you're going to begin to slide your heel in. Your toes may come to the floor. You may stay on your heel as you bring that right shin towards your chest. Notice you want to kind of collapse here. So press into your hands and keep the heart lifted. Right? If you come too far and it's too intense, slide your legs out a little bit. The idea is we want to bring some opening into the hip. This is a little challenging. I can see that. Take 1 more breath here. Notice if you're holding your breath. And then slide that leg out. Straighten the right leg. Shake out both legs. Good. And let's do that on the other side. So you're going to bend. So the ankle rests on the thigh. Like press into your hands so you can stay nice and lifted. And then begin to draw that leg in. And you'll find one leg is a little looser than the other. Remember, you can come in just a little ways. So don't force it if it doesn't want to go. And maybe just being here is enough of a stretch. Right? So if you feel like being here and pressing in your thigh is better for you, by all means, do what you need to. Take 1 more breath wherever you've chosen. Right, and then if your heel is slid in, slide it back out, straighten the other leg, bounce out both legs, right? Shake them out a little bit. And let's come over onto all fours into tabletop. So if you need cushioning underneath your knees, by all means, grab that. You need to take a moment and roll out your wrist before coming to all fours. Right? Take time to do that. As we come into tabletop, right? Check that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, right? Your feet are lined up with your knees. And take a little side to side wag like you were a puppy dog with a tail swishing side to side. Good. And then coming to center, inhale, lengthen to the crown of your head. Think about taking your chest forward as if it was going to move through your upper arms. And then as you exhale, draw the belly in, bring the elbows to the floor and your forehead towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. Let's do that 2 more times. So inhaling forward, right, find your breath rhythm, and exhale, draw the belly in, elbows to the floor. 1 more time, inhale forward, and exhale, elbows to the floor. Now let's add opposite arm and leg extending. So this time as you inhale up, reach your right arm forward and your left leg back to balancing cat. And then exhale, hand and knee to the floor, elbows come down, come back into child's pose. We'll go to the other side. So as you inhale up into table, reach the left arm and the right leg back. And then exhale, hand and knee to the floor, hips towards heels. Let's do that 2 more times on each side. So right arm, left leg, reaching, exhale back into child's, left arm, right leg, and back into child's pose. This next time as you come up and extend the right arm and the left leg, right? Let's hold here. So exhale, soften your elbow, soften your knee. Inhale, reach the fingers forward, stretch through the arm and leg, get longer. Exhale, soften. Inhale, reach and lengthen the whole spine. Soften. 1 more breath. Inhale, lengthen, and this time as you exhale, hand and knee to the floor, sink your hips back into child's pose. Take 1 full breath here. And then when you're ready on your next inhale, coming up, lifting the left arm and right leg. And again, we'll stay here for 3 breaths. So keep your gaze towards the floor, neck long. Think about lengthening on the inhale, softening on the exhale. Lengthen. So the softening can be just very subtle. It doesn't have to be big. Good. 1 more time. And then releasing hand and knee to the floor, coming back to child's pose. And let's take 3 breaths here. If child's pose isn't comfortable for you, right, find an option. You can sit back on your heels, stretch out on your belly. Make sure that your toes are flat rather than curled under. And when you've finished your 3, or maybe it's 4 breaths, right, come back up into table. And we're going to move into thread the needle for our shoulders. Right, we did that last week. So I'll start with my left arm. You can choose which arm makes it easier for you to see. So I'm going to lift the arm up and look up at it. And then exhale, we're going to thread it underneath and one that's on the floor, almost bringing your shoulder to the floor, but not quite. And then inhale, lift up. And exhale, thread through. We'll do that 1 more time. Inhale, lift up, reach. And exhale, this time as you come down, you're going to bring the back of your arm and the side of your head to the floor. Keep that opposite hand pressing into the floor. Well, we're going to take 3 breaths here. If you feel like you're not getting much stretch in your shoulder, press into the hand that's on the floor. So you begin to open up your chest towards that extended hand. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, press into the floor, reach that arm up and out, come back to tabletop. I invite you to take a down dog here, but you're always welcome to come into child's pose, or again, to sit back on your heels for a moment into hero. That's your preference. And then when you're ready, coming back to table, and let's do thread the needle on the other side. So with the opposite arm, right, we're going to reach it up to the sky, and then exhale, we'll thread under. And And do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, slide it under. Last time, inhale, reach up. This time, as we slide it under, we're going to rest on the back of the arm and on the side of your head. I'm going to keep hand on the floor. Stay right here, or maybe press into that hand so that you feel a little more rotating of your chest open towards that extended arm. One more breath here. And then pressing into the hand that's on the floor, slide that arm out. You can reach up to the side, coming back to tabletop. And again, rest in child's pose or come into downward facing dog. Your choice. And of course, you can do whatever you need to. Pedal your feet here in down dog a little bit. Right. So bend your knees, like everyone's in down dog, and really press the floor away with your hands so your spine gets long. Keep your knees really bent. So, and bend your knees some more. Now press the floor away. Really get long so that your hips go up and back. Good. Excellent. We're going to make our way up towards standing. So if you're comfortable walking your feet towards your hands and your hands towards your feet and coming to standing, and that way you can. Otherwise, bring your knees down and make your way up to standing. And if you need to adjust your screen at this point, by all means do. Good. So what do you need as you come to standing to help your transition? Do you need to shake a little? Do you need to swing a little? Do you need to just stand and let your head get used to being standing after being on all fours? So take a moment to take that little bit of adjustment, bounce, jiggle, whatever you like. That's a new thing in my practice that I'm really enjoying. It's got a lot of benefits that I have been taking advantage of. All right, and then find your mountain pose. Good. Check that your feet are about hip distance apart. Right. Take a moment here, soften your gaze, close your eyes, and come back to that affirmation or mantra that you chose at the beginning of class as a reminder. If you'd like to bring your hands to your heart, you do so. I invite you to do that. Right. Reminding yourself, I'm content. I have a happy heart. Right. There is so much to be joyful about in my life. And then opening your eyes, keeping your hands here at heart, we're going to move into mountain pose. So on an inhale, open your arms out to 4 and 2, perhaps lifting your heels slightly. And then exhale, coming back to the heart. So just as we did at the beginning, thinking about bringing in that mantra. So as you inhale, open your arms out to 3 and 9, and exhale back to heart. And you may choose to switch which hand comes to the chest first. We're going to go to 2 and 10, hands back to the heart, and then up towards 12. Hands back to the heart. Let's do that whole sequence again. So as we inhale, hands to 2 and 4 and 8. I got my numbers wrong. And then to 3 and 9. And back. Now to 10 and 2. I think I got it right now. Good. And then up towards 12. And back to the heart. Now we're going to come and stay in mountain pose. So decide which arm level you would like. So on an inhale, right, lift your heels slightly, let your arms go out. I'm not moving my arms because I want you to choose. Where do you want your arms to be? They can be down here. They can be here. They can be here. They can be here. Whatever would feel best for you. There isn't a right place. It's what you like. And then take 3 breaths here, wherever your arms are. So inhale, get a little taller. Exhale, soften, maybe lower your heels a little. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. And this time as you exhale, lower your heels, lower your arms all the way down. Right? Roll your shoulders, shake out your legs. And move to the short end of your mat. This is where you may want to have a chair, or some of you are lucky enough to work in a space where you have a bed or something else, right? Just like we had it last week for balance, you may want to have it at the front of your mat. So know yourself. So as you come into mountain at the short end of your mat, with or without the chair, it's your choice. It's just nice to have that there. Let's step the left foot back, right foot forward. And we're going to do those superwoman arms again, right? Because we are all superwomen. And as we inhale, we'll bend that right knee and open the arms. And you might even open the hands into cactus. And then exhale, come back to the heart. Let's do 3 more. So inhale, open, exhale, coming back. Try and slow this down a little bit. Inhale, open, and exhale, coming back. 2 more at your own speed. And this next time as you open, let's stay here. And I invite you to extend your arms up to the ceiling. And again, as you inhale, think about pressing your feet into the floor and growing taller, pulling the ribs out of the waist. Exhale, soften your fingers. Inhale, stretch your fingertips towards the sky, get long. Exhale, soften. 1 more breath. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, soften. We're going to move into warrior 3. So on your next exhale, you're going to swing your arms back, shift your weight forward, and lift that back leg. Go like a little dancer almost pose. And then exhale, softly set that back foot down and arms overhead. So we're going to move in and out of the pose very mindfully. That's where you can always grab onto the chair if you need to. That's why I suggested you have that there. Do that 2 more times. Good. And the next time you come forward, can you pause here for a full breath? And then mindfully set that back leg down, arms come up overhead. Straighten your front knee and bring the arms down to the top of that right thigh. We're now going to come into pyramid pose. So take a breath in, it's long in your spine, and then exhale, slide your hands down the front of your thigh just to the knee. And come part way down, spine is long. Inhale, keeping the spine long, slide back up to the top of the thigh. This next time, let's go a little deeper. So this time as we exhale, draw the belly in. Maybe the hand comes down to the knee or to the upper part of the shin. And then inhale, slide back up to the top of the thigh. We're going to find now the place where we feel we can stay. So this time as you exhale and come down, stop wherever is best for you. Hands can rest on your shin, on your thigh, or if the chair is in front of you, the chair can be a handy prop here. As you come here, relax your upper body. Let your head dangle. Shake it yes and no. Keep a little micro bend in that front knee. Right. Inhale, lengthen your spine. So that you might be coming up out of the pose a little bit. And then exhale, soften down. Remember to soften your knee. 1 more breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Draw the belly in, and then keeping the spine long, inhale all the way up to standing. Let's step your back leg forward. Again, take a moment to wiggle, jiggle, shake out. Right. So the chair is a nice prop to have to help some of those poses pull easy, right? When we're tight in hamstrings, and if you've been doing a lot of sitting, you know, the weather hasn't been conducive for getting out to exercise and walk and do things too much. We can feel tight. Okay, ready to go to the other side? All right, so let's step now, left foot forward, right foot back. Both legs are straight to start. Start with your Wonder Woman or Superwoman arms. And as you take a breath in, we're going to open the arms. So we're opening our heart, right, to accept that gift of contentment. And then exhaling back and sheltering our heart against harm. So move with that intention. We'll do maybe 3 more of these. If you do more, though, the time. Right, the rest of us are done 3, that's fine. Right. And the next time you come into the pose, I'll give you the option this time, depending on how your shoulders feel. You can stay with the cactus arms and the elbows drawing back, or lift the arms up overhead. Right. Wherever you are, think about that lengthening. So even if arms are in cactus, lengthening on the inhale, exhale, softening a little into the pose. Even think about lengthening through the fingertips and then softening the hands. One more breath. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, soften. Now we're going to move into warrior three. So even if you're at cactus arms, right, on your next inhale, you're going to shift forward and reach the arms back. And then exhale, bring that back foot down and lift the arms back up to wherever you've chosen. Do that maybe 3 more times. And I invite you to hold the last one for a full breath. Nice job. Remember, you can always use your chair to help you with balance. And then when you're ready, mindfully step that back leg down, bring your arms back down by your side. Good. Bring your hands to the top of now the left thigh, both knees are straight. And we're going to take those 3 breaths down. So inhale, first create space in your spine. Exhale, drawing the belly and keeping the spine long. Slide down just above your kneecap. And then inhale, long spine, back up. Let's move a little deeper this time. So exhale, as we slide down, maybe you come down to the knee or just to the very top of the shin. And inhale, lengthen up. And this next time, come to wherever is going to be a good place for you to hold. And this is a different leg. Use your chair as you would like. It will be helpful. And again, relax the neck here. Shake the head no and yes. And let the upper body kind of drape over that leg. Feel the big stretch in the back of the hamstring. Take a nice breath in and a breath out. Holding the breath out or keeping the belly firm, right? As you inhale, lengthen the spine. Lengthen all the way up to standing. Good. Step your back leg forward and shake out both legs, right? Take a moment here. Kind of wiggle, jiggle, move in any way that you need to. Okay. I'm going to move my chair off to the side for right now because we're not going to need it for the next pose, but you're welcome to. Good. And then take a moment in mountain pose. Right? Arms can rest at your side or at your heart. Close your eyes, soften for a minute, and take that moment of awareness. How did that series of poses, how is that settling in my body and in my nervous system? And then opening your eyes, step your feet wide now on your mat. Toes pointed forward and parallel. And then bring your arms behind you. And if you can, interlace your hands so you can begin to draw your thumbs towards the floor. So I'll turn for a moment so you can see what I'm doing. Right? So we want to lengthen the hands down so we feel that opening in the chest. Right? And as you draw the hands down, take your head and look to one side. Right? Maybe drop your chin and lift it a little, as if you're doing a little yes nod here. And then come back to center and go to the other side and take that yes nod here. Come back to center. Drop your ear towards one shoulder. With the arms back like this is a big stretch into the neck and the upper shoulder. And come to center and then go to the other side. And back to center. And now we're going to take a forward fold. So you're welcome to keep the arms here in Yoga Mudra and lift them up as we fold forward. Or if you're more comfortable, bring your hands to your sides and sliding down. By all means, do that. So take a breath. First, get long. Feel that space in the spine. And then as you exhale, draw the belly in. Begin to bring your chest forward as you lift the arms up and away from the low back, crown of the head towards the floor. Remember, a little bend in the knees. We don't want them bent really deeply, right? But a little bend. Continue to lengthen. Draw the arms away as much as is comfortable for your shoulders. You can release at any time that's right for you. And you may choose to release your hands and bring them down to the floor. If you like wide leg down dog and you want to walk your hands forward a little bit and then sink your weight back towards your hips, I invite you to do that. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then if you've walked your hands away, walk them back in towards you. Draw your heels in slightly, so now your feet are pointed out. Right? Bring your hands to your thighs and bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and then pressing with your feet inhale up to standing. Good. You can bring your feet together, shake out your legs a little bit. Yeah, if you need to take any stretch or movement, right, to counter that deep forward fold, by all means do that. Right, be mindful of shoulders. And then let's find a moment of stillness, right, so we can observe, so that the power of the pause and the observation. All right. And before we come down to the floor, let's come into tree pose. So if your chair is still handy and you need that for support, or you want to come close to a wall for support, do that. So let's start with the right leg being our standing leg. When we stand, make sure you're not locking the knee. A little softness here. And try something a little different this time. Bring your hands to your waist, right? And lift the left knee and turn the knee out to the side. And then bring your foot in towards your leg. If the calf isn't working, feel free to have toes on the floor or even to take your heel to the top of the foot, right? And just notice how that feels. Notice what's happening in your hips as you take that knee out to the side. Often this hip goes out. So think about lengthening, keeping your hips even best you can. And then from here, I invite you to either keep your arms low, which might be nice, or if you'd like to come into that eagle mudra, right, we've done that little tapping before, if that is comforting and you'd like to do that. And if you choose to do the tapping here, again, use each time that your fingers gently tap against your chest as an opportunity to repeat your mantra, your affirmation for today. When you're ready, release your legs, release your arms, shake out that standing leg. Right? A great pose for building bone, right? Again, wiggle, jiggle, move in any ways that you need to. Feel like we're in a dance, doing the shimmy or something. That's good fun. Okay. And let's go to the other side. So start with your hands on your waist. This time the left leg's gonna be our standing leg. So just mentally think about that, soften the knee a little bit. And then lift the right knee slightly, take the knee out to the side, and then place the foot wherever you'd like it. Right? That way you're getting a more natural opening in the hip joint, is why I'm doing it that way. And remember, you're welcome to keep your arms down low, or come to any other expression if you'd like to do that. Eagle mudra, I'm gonna switch which hand I have touching my chest. And maybe tap your fingers or mentally repeat your affirmation 2, maybe 3 times. So there are no prizes for getting your foot up high. Toes on the floor is perfectly fine. Heel on top of the standing foot is fine. Good. And then release your leg, release your arms. Again, take any stretch or movement you would like. Excellent. And let's come down to kneeling on our mat. So again, if you need something cushioning underneath your knees, do that. Come towards the back of your mat. And we're going to start on our shins in lightning pose and do just a short sequence here with lightning. So on an inhale, right, you can lift the arms forward and up or out to the side, your preference. As you exhale, draw the belly in and bring your hands and your elbows down towards the floor, right, as if you're coming into child's pose. As you inhale, come up onto all fours. Exhale, curl your toes and press back into down dog. Inhale, knees come down, back to tabletop, uncurl your toes. Exhale, take your hips back towards your heels, so elbows come to the floor again in child's pose. Inhale, really engage that belly, lift the arms forward and up, back up into lightning. And let's do that again. So exhaling, arms reach forward, elbows come to the floor, forehead towards the floor. Inhale forward into tabletop, curl the toes, exhale into down dog. Inhale back to tabletop, uncurl your toes, and exhale back into child's pose. This is the big lift, so inhale, lift your arms, lift your torso, reaching up. Gaze might come up, and then exhale your arms down to your side. Good, give your arms a little bit of a roll. We're gonna come right down onto our bellies. So you can rest your forehead or one cheek on the floor. I'm going to sit up so that you can hear me a little bit better. Right. Hands are underneath the shoulders, and actually the heel of the hand, you want to slide back towards the rib cage. So rather than having your hands underneath your shoulders here, slide them down so the elbows are drawn back. Think about them being kind of like the legs on a grasshopper, right? How they stick up and back. Good. And we're going to come into Cobra pose. And I'm going to invite you to add the legs today. So let's just do it with one leg. So you choose which leg you want to start with. So on an inhale, feel the breath moving up the spine, lengthening you so much that you lift your head and chest and one leg. And then exhale, lowering down, bringing forehead or the opposite cheek to the floor. Do that to the other side. Inhale, lifting chest, opposite leg, and exhale, lowering down. We'll do each leg one more time. So on an inhale, lengthening up, right, lifting the chest. The leg doesn't have to lift very far. And lower down. And to the second leg, as you lift up, and lower back down. And you're welcome to rest or to lift the chest and both legs. So on an inhale, right, coming up into your cobra, but lifting both legs. They won't lift very far. Good. And lowering down, make sure to keep the neck long. And do that one more time if you've got it. If you're done, you're done. And come down. And I'm going to invite you right away to roll over onto your back. Hug your knees in. Roll around a little. So yeah, it's good to have your props nearby for Shavasana, but let's not put anything under the head and neck just yet. Good. So right, knees to chest or windshield your knees, whatever is going to help be a nice counter pose. The actual counter pose, right? And so in yoga, when we do forward bends, we like to counter pose and do the opposite action, which would be a back bend. So we just did a back bend. Now we're going to do a forward bend. So bringing your feet to the floor and your palms to the floor beside you, we're going to come into bridge. And I invite you to raise your arms as you come into bridge, but take whatever variation you'd like. So take a breath here. And then as you exhale, engaging from the belly, begin to peel the spine up and away from the floor. The arms might lift and go overhead if that's your choice. And as you lift the pelvis up. And then exhaling, come on down. So take a breath here. And then as you exhale, lifting up. Inhale, pause here. I forgot to say that last time, I'm sorry. And then exhale, coming back down. Let's do that one more time. So whenever you're ready, right, engaging the core as you lift up, I would invite you to maybe stay here so arms can stay overhead and reach away, or you may choose to bring your arms by your side and leave the pelvis lifted. Nice. Take in one more breath and then use the exhale to engage the core because that helps protect the low back, lowering all the way back down. Good. Let the knees windshield side to side or come into your chest. And then bringing the feet to the floor. Take your arms out from your shoulders in T, palms up or palms down, so that will depend on your shoulders. And I want you to press into your feet, lift your pelvis up and shift it a little to the left on your mat. Then bring your knees in towards your chest. And as you exhale, let the knees drop towards the right. Right? This way we're keeping the shoulder and the pelvis in alignment, the shoulder and the hip. Right? I'm going to stay here for 3 to 4 breaths. Feel free to turn your head the opposite direction. Bring the twist up into the cervical spine. The gaze towards the ceiling is absolutely fine. Invite the breath to slow down a little here. And notice if you're breathing very quickly, can you come back to that coherent breath pattern that you know works for you? Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, engage the core muscles, draw the knees back up towards the center. Set your feet down and readjust your pelvis so it's centered in your mat. Take a breath here. And now we'll do it to the other side. So pressing into your feet, lift your pelvis, and now shift it over to the right. Draw the knees into the chest, and then let them fall to the left. Head can turn the opposite way, your choice. Close your eyes. Let the breath be long and slow. Take in one more breath. As you exhale, engage those low belly muscles, draw the knees up to center. Right, bring your feet to the floor so that you can press into your feet and readjust. Right, and then invite your knees one at a time in towards your chest. The hands can come to the top of the knees. Take a little bit of a rock side to side. Massage the low back. And then bringing the hips to center on an inhale. You're going to straighten your knees, take your legs up towards the ceiling and your arms overhead. If you were doing down dog, but on your back. And then exhale, bend the knees and hands back to the tops of the knees. Do that a couple more times. Feel free to linger here as you stretch. And then exhale, soften. Do that once or twice more for yourself. Letting go. And when you feel ready in your time, begin to settle yourself in for Shavasana. So hopefully you have your props nearby. I'm going to sit up so that it's a little easier for me to guide you. But make sure you're supported, make sure you're going to be warm. So if you need something under your head or under your knees, if you want an eye pillow or some kind of a covering over your eyes. And once you feel settled, take that full deep breath and let it go through your mouth. Something about sighing out loud that helps you really let go. And do a quick body scan, right? Check in with the toes and the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, the heels, the ankles. Tell them it's okay. You can let go. You can rest. Be content here. Check in with shins and calves, knees, thighs, and inviting in that contentment down the whole length of both legs. Check in the hips, across the pelvis, the low belly and the low back. Notice any tension or holding here. Take a couple breaths here. Maybe choosing to repeat your affirmation on each exhale. My heart is joyful. I am content. Bring awareness awareness to the ribs, the chest, all along the spine, noticing how the spine is resting on the floor, up to the backs of the shoulders, noticing how your arms are laying on the floor at your sides, attending to wrists, hands, and fingers. Breathe into the whole torso and exhale. Breathe in that contentment. Exhale the tension. I am content. My heart is happy. Shift your awareness now to the base of the throat, the sides of the neck, the back of the neck, feeling your head laying on the floor. Begin to notice your face. Notice any places of tension, maybe right forehead is furrowed a little as you're trying to close your eyes. Can you soften and relax the forehead and temples? Can you let the eyes rest heavily in their sockets? Softening the lines around the mouth, the jaw, chin. Content, inviting contentment, happy heart. Observe your breath. Observe the thoughts that are moving across the screen of your mind. And then bring your awareness to rest there in the center of your chest. Rest in the contentment that is yours at this point in life. Rest in the many blessings of family, friends, health. So many blessings. Rest here and be happy for the next 2 to 3 minutes. To hear me invite you back. Invite in a slightly deeper breath. You feel ready and continue to invite the breath to become a little fuller again. Begin to invite in the movement that your body needs right now. And to awaken in any way that feels good. Moving fingers, toes, stretching, rocking the head. And over the next 4 to 5 breaths, making your way to roll onto one side. Keep your eyes closed for now. But roll to your side. Use props or your arm to pillow your head. Don't feel rushed. Take your time. And as you rest here on your side, once more return to your affirmation for today. So it could be there'll be some difficult days in the near future, days of frustration or loneliness or simply boredom. And coming back to this affirmation, this mantra, may be just what you need to bring that inner smile to your lips. Remind yourself, I'm content. My heart is happy. Even though outside circumstances are not what we would wish, we can maintain that sense of contentment, of santosha within. When you're ready, begin to roll your chest towards the floor. Use your hands to press the floor away and make your way to a comfortable seat, sitting in whatever manner is best for you, letting your hands find a place to rest on your body, whether on your legs, in your chest, in your belly. Take a breath or two here once you become settled. And then bringing hands to heart center. It always makes my heart very happy to spend this time with you. It is a great joy and a great privilege. Thank you so much for being here and sharing who you are with me and with one another. My prayer for you today is that your heart would be filled to overflowing with joy, with contentment, with happiness, but most of all with that peace, that deep peace that lives within, a peace that surpasses understanding. And so that light that is in my heart acknowledges that we share that light. We're connected to something greater than who we are. So I bow to you in honor and respect and with enormous love to each and every one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.